Hello, beautiful ladies. Dr. Cari here. Have you noticed that menopause is showing up in the news? I mean, it was an ad at the Super Bowl. That's a very expensive ad. I definitely took note of that. And this is great because it's about time that they're starting to pay attention to women and this transition. We have been greatly ignored in the sciences for many, many years. And it also can be a little problematic because what you're going to start to see is a lot of products out there. They're going to start to try to sell to you. And I just want you to understand that not everything is created equal. So there are some herbs that, first of all, there's no one pill for the majority of women that are in an imbalanced perimenopause that's going to solve it. Now, if you have a little bit of imbalance, you're having little hot flashes, or you're, a little bit just noticing things a little off, then taking some herbs may be all you need to do, and that's great. So if you go out and you try some black cohosh, or some valerian, or some lemon balm, or some sage tea, and it helps you, amazing. However, if you do those things, and they maybe help a little, but they don't solve everything, or they don't really help you, I want you to understand why. So, during this phase, your estrogen production is moving from the ovaries into either in the adrenals or in conjunction with the adrenals. And the adrenals, the ovaries' job was just to make your sex hormones, just to make you, fertile to have babies. That's what the ovaries' jobs were. Now they're offline because you're not doing that anymore. And that's not a bad thing, ladies. I know sometimes it can feel like it, but you're in a new role now. But now the adrenals take up the job of making your sex hormones or supporting sex hormone production. And your adrenals also do a lot of other stuff that's really important to your survival. So your body's always programming towards the greatest stressor, the thing that is most important that addresses for your survival, and often hormones are low on that totem pole because they're not an immediate threat to the body if they're low. Whereas like not enough blood sugar, immediate threat to the body. Not enough oxygen would be an immediate threat to the body. Not enough blood to the head is an immediate threat to the body as far as its survival goes. So we have in our body, our adrenals produce stress hormones to help us make sure we keep enough glucose around, to help us make sure we keep enough blood going to our brain, to help us navigate those potentially threatening states from the inside. And then they also produce hormones to help us deal with potentially threatening states from the outside, right? So they're very busy. So if we have a lot of stress on our body or in our life, that will affect our hormone production. So if you take black cohosh or things like that to help hormone production and it doesn't work, it means that the body is under stress. Now there are two kinds of categories that I put stress into. One is I call external stress. External stress is the way that we respond to our external environment. It's not external stress, it's an internal job. Because two people can experience the exact same thing and one would think it's wonderful and one would think it's stressful, right? It's really about our interpretation of what's happening in our outside world. A lot of that has to do with the experiences we had as a child and the way our brain programmed itself to try to learn to survive. So when you were a child, your brain was interpreting what was happening and creating programs to tell you how to respond in the future to keep you alive. And I call those programs outdated survival programming because a lot of the programs are old, they're not very sophisticated, and they don't really help us now that we're as an adult, but they still can be being activated and making us respond stressfully to our external environment. So that's the first area of stress. The other area of stress, and most of us know about that, right? We know about life stress. Some of us may not realize that regardless of what's going on outside, the stress response in the body is dictated by you. It isn't dictated by the external environment, right? And what I mean is, I had a friend once who was he was in the reconnaissance division in the Marine Corps, at the head of one, and somebody came in to where we were and started yelling at him, and I watched him, and of course my body was like, ooh, you know, he had no response to that, no stress response to it. And later I said, why was that? And he said, Cari, I literally have stood in front of 100 enemy combatants who all had machine guns, and I had to get them to put their machine guns down in order to be successful and to survive. Do you think I'm going to care if somebody's yelling at me? I got nothing, right? So that's sort of the truth of the stress response. When we are exposed to things more often, they become less stressful. When something's new, they are more stressful to us, things like that. So it really is an internal job when we're dealing with the external world. However, we also can have what I call internal stressors. So there are things that are going on in our body that are causing the body to create and generate stress hormones that can really affect us during this time of life. Because remember, the busier the adrenals are making stress hormones, the less they're going to spend time making sex hormones, okay? So when the sex hormones go down, the body gets really stressed out, and then we're in this vicious loop of stress. So internal stressors are when when there's things going on in your body, as I said, that's causing the body to create stress hormones. So when there's inflammation in the body, inflammation very often comes from digestive imbalances, infections in your gut. So if you've got gas, bloating, anything like that, you probably have some digestive stuff going on, and that is a real source of inflammation in the body. Stress hormones get created in order to help the body moderate moderate inflammation. Likewise, if you have allergies, that is, usually our response to things is mediated by stress hormones. And if you have allergies that are, you're keeping the body in a constant state of stress. If you have a bunch of chemicals in your body, that creates a lot of stress on the system. If you're eating in erratic ways, that creates a lot of stress on the body. A lot of stress hormones have to get released in order to get the body to break down glucose stores, because if you don't have enough glucose, it's an emergency situation for the body. So there's a lot of things that we do in our life that are causing our internal environment to produce stress hormones that can aggravate us during this time. So yes, it's great that we're in the news. And be careful about, believing those ads that say there's one pill that's going to fix your weight problem. I saw this one ad. They used an elephant as the image for menopausal weight gain. Hello, what? And it was the weight loss pill that was going to solve it all. If you're gaining weight, ladies, your body is under stress. Fat is where estrogen is made, and if we have too low estrogen, we gain weight. If we have too high estrogen, we gain weight, and that all comes back to stress again. And there's 9 factors that we have to look at to find out where that stress is and how to get you out of that stress. So there isn't a super pill out there. There might be some herbs that can help you. But I just don't want you to go down the rabbit hole of trying a bunch of stuff that isn't helpful and wasting your money. But I also want you to be careful and not do things that are harmful. So always ask yourself, whenever you're considering doing something during this time, is this a loving choice? Is this a choice that will help my body instead of create more stress for me, right? So it's great we're in the news. It's great we're getting more attention. And you might start seeing a lot of super pills being offered, and there just isn't one. If you are having a bumpy time, it's a sign that your body is under stress and that we need to help get your body out of that stress state. So I hope you found this helpful. I'm sending you so much love, and if you're watching this on YouTube and you like the video, give us a thumbs up so we know, what's supporting you. If you have any suggestions of what you'd like to hear, write it in the comments. Or if you're getting this via email, go ahead and just shoot us an email back saying, hey, Cari, can you talk about this? I would love, love, love to know what you want support with. Sending you all so much love.